Right, a very good morning once again and welcome to newspaper headlines analysis on the program Daybreak live on Dominion Television. Of course, this is where we'll keep you abreast of what is happening from our national dailies. Well, I have a lot of newspapers here, but I'll read through before I let you know my guest or my analyst for today. This morning we'll kickstart with this day with this big one. Federal government half-year tax revenue jumps 43% to 14.27 trillion naira. So much riders there. We have Edu rebased GDP. First quarter growth estimates signs of nation's economic resilience and renewed momentum. And we have LCCI rebasing hasn't changed harsh economic reality. And the last one there, men riders, analysts with sluggish GDP growth attaining $1 trillion economy, a tall order. That's all from this day. And of course, you can get that from page 3 of the paper. At the top part of the paper, we have this: Bagudu, Tinubu's ambition is to see Nigeria refine all its crude oil in country. Riders, well, we have so much riders there. We have NMDPRA chief says president has never interfered in regulatory affairs. And we have West African nations agree to impose penalties on non-performing refinery licenses, and that's on page 9 of this day. And we have this politics side. Damagum, PDP's problem self-inflicted. Defectors should return or leave in peace. 4 riders there, or 5 riders. We won't tolerate indiscipline. Defectors left because of ambitions, says Bala Muhammad. And we will fix party, living not an option, Saraki declares. And we have Aliyu saying, Aliyu, most defectors are nomadic, selfish. And the last riders there, our party will rise again, says Olawepo Hashem. You read more, page 3 of this day. Well, away from these days, let's head straight to the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune is having this politics one here. APC moves neck meeting to presidential villa, and riders, whoever emerges as our chairman, will promote party interests. Uzodinma, that's governor of Abia State, Uzodinma, is talking there. And PDP leaders drum reconciliation, issue warnings ahead of next meeting. And we can resolve our differences. Jerry Ghana, saying that seek support for southern candidates. We can read more. And Nigerian Tribune, I pick a copy of Nigerian Tribune and flip to page 2 of the paper to read. And we have this one too from we have this: 4 more PDP senators defect to APC as party Senate majority grows to 70. Big one. Politics again. Ocean Assembly members back Adeleke, and residents vow to stick with him. That's on page 16, page 8 and 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. Beside it, we have CSO's withdraw petition against NMDPRA bus tender apology. That's on page 25 of the paper. And from the Nigerian Tribune, we have this: I am vindicated, says Onosoya, as court strikes out loan trial. Then we have court also frees Otudeco as EFCC withdraws fraud charges. That's on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And the health part, we have the health story here. Organ transplantation, surgeons revive dead heart from for infant transplant. And that's on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Well, let's quickly leave Nigerian Tribune. Let's head straight to The Nation. The Nation is coming with this one: North Central favored to produce Ganduje successor, and riders APC neck meet today in Abuja. All party organs activated. Well, politics side again, we have the story. We have why PDP should zone 2027 presidential ticket to South by Jerry Garner. And a lot happening there. We have this one too, politics. Obi Baba Ahmed part ways over Labour Party crisis. And the rider there saying that former running mate joins Abure's camp. And that's on page 4 of The Nation. And we have World Bank backs Nigeria on 90,000 kilometer optic network project. That's on page 7 of The Nation. Away from The Nation, you remember I said we have lots of those dailies here this morning, but we'll just flip through some. And we have this: Nigeria, federal government declares food prevention national security priority. That's coming from this Nigeria. And a rider unveils anticipatory action plan for from reactive relief to proactive disaster response ahead of 2025 flood season. And we have this one: politics. 4 PDP senator defects to APC at Senate majority 870. And riders, we have a rider there: Tinubu's $3 billion Eastern Rail pledge. Internal PDP crisis spark major political realignment ahead of 2027. And that's on page 5 of this Nigeria. Then we have NAV airstrikes at the insecurity part. Now we have NAV airstrike eliminates 95 terrorists in Niger. That's on page 16 of this day. Well, let's quickly look at what the Guardian newspaper is saying. Same thing with this day. 43% spike in tax revenues pours up for fiscal recovery. Deficit cuts. That's on page 6 of the Guardian. A lot there. Politics there. Tinubu APC leaders converge on Villa as NEC tackles crucial issues. And that's on page 6 of the Guardian. Let's quickly look at what the Punch is saying this morning. Away from the Guardian, let's head straight to the Punch. Whoa, Punch saying tariff battle escalates. Tariff battle escalates. Discourse rejects review. Talks with states. And a rider: 36 states energy commissioners to meet federal government as tariff shutdown worsens. And we have this one: politics. 2027 presidency, PDP sees Southern candidate as game changer. And that's on page 2. Damagona is talking there, and that's on page 2 of the Punch. Beside it, we have APC expands national control with 7 new PDP defectors. At on page 12 of the Punch. And reps approve $347 million loan for Lagos Calabar Highway. Others, a lot here. And we have this one: the human angle story there down below. Ogun resident protest after fatal crash kills 4 pupils. And beside it, beside it, we have this politics story there. The faction drama. APC, PDP exchange barbs over Adeleke's U-turn. U-turn is always in Agbadoija, Abule Egba, but then Adeleke is making a U-turn. Well, I'm being joined by a journalist, a public affairs analyst, Mr. Leko Shubowale. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm good.
A lot's happening.
Seriously?
Well, like I always tell my analysts that always come on the show, like 2026 is out of the calendar when it comes to politics in Nigeria. Sure. But then we won't go there. Let's quickly look at what this one is saying. Tariff battle escalates. That's this quote. Rejects review talks with states. And 36 states energy commissioners to meet federal government as tariff showdown worsens. What's your take on this?
Yes, I think one of the, if you have to talk about a major achievement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration, one of the very significant achievements is this issue of passage of tax reform bills. All of us, for some of us that were of age then, we can remember the exploit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu while he was the Lagos State governor. You know, he has been a leader, you know, very conscious of generating the revenue. He knows it has been his style. So, you know, the passage of a tax reform bill has helped a lot in making sure that, you know, I was reading, I think it was yesterday, that, you know, as at 2024, our GDP base was 371 trillion naira, you know. It has never happened before. You know, this is unprecedented. And whatever success, whatever achievements the president is recording now can only be attributed to the passage of tax reform bills. You know, before now, Nigerians don't like paying tax, especially the privileged ones. But, you know, with this passage of tax reform bills, it is now an offense. It is a crime that whether you like it or not, you have to make sure that you pay your tax. And that burden, you know, mostly lies on the privileged ones, you know, the wealthy ones among us, you know. And you know, before now, we have the civil servants mostly that pays their tax because, you know, their tax most of the time used to be deducted from the source. You understand? But now, you know, there is no way you not pay your tax. So this has this passage of this bill is a very special bill, a bill and a law that is so dear to the heart of Mr. President. So I am not surprised, you know, knowing what he did while he was the governor in Lagos State. If he's not going to do anything, I know that the issue of IGR in Nigeria, you know, and the issue of, you know, most of the dailies this morning carried this story. So it is expected. Of course, it's not a new thing to me. So kudos to Mr. President. All right, let's quickly look at what the papers are saying concerning politics. So we have this one, defection drama. APC, PDP exchange barbs over Adeleke's, that's the governor of Osun State, U-turn. And APC said Adeleke was rejected because it would be a liability and will hurt the integrity of the party. What are your thoughts on this motivation behind Adeleke's U-turn and what might be driving his actions? Yes, generally, you know, politicians will only be politicians. You know, Adeleke, I don't want to believe that Adeleke will be a liability to APC. You know, looking at the waves of defection going on around the country. And let me say, allegedly, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu currently is not having the northern state to his side. So the very first thing that is not having the northern state to his side. You know, that's why I said allegedly. Okay. You know, most of us believe that the president is not having the northern states, you know, in his side, going by some of the comments of the leadership of the northern region. So the very first thing that the president needs to do is to convert support to ensure that, you know, we have 17 southern states, we have 19 northern states. The calculation is that, okay, let me have the complete 17 northern states. Osun State is part of southern states. Okay, let me have the complete 70 southern states. So Osun State is part of the southern state. And, you know, fortunately, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes to have originated from Osun State, Ragbiji. So, you know, there is no way that he will not find a means of bringing Osun State to his side. You understand? And I don't think I've read comments and remarks by some leaders of APC in Osun State. If Adeleke is coming to APC, which I believe... But here, they said he made U-turn, like he wants to remain in PDP. But he's endorsing President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for second term. But in politics, 24 hours is a very long time. You know, we are talking about 2026. This is 2025. This is July 2025. So, and we are having election in Osun State in 2026. So, you know, in politics, 24 hours is a very long time. Who tells you, as at yesterday, they have already purchased Ankara that they want to use for defection rally. They are currently sharing Ankara in Osun State for Adeleke's defection. Some of the National Assembly members who are PDP are already going into APC. Defected to APC. Even the State Assembly, you know, largely of PDP. Like yesterday, it was alleged that 10 of them are moving to APC.
Is that a body language for?
Yeah, you understand? If you look at the trend, before now, former Governor Rauf Aregbesola and Governor Ademola Adeleke, they are together. You know, they sing praise themselves, they, you know, but now you can see the trend. Now, so, you know, it is not for any of the APC gladiators, APC leaders in Osun State to stop Governor Ademola Adeleke. I remembered a few weeks ago, the APC National Secretary, Ajibola Bashir, who happens to be also a governorship aspirant in Osun State, was saying that whatever the decision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the issue of Governor Ademola Adeleke is what he will be standing with. So, you know, all these things, you know, I don't want to say hands, I don't want to say, when the time comes for Governor Adeleke to move into the APC, none of these APC leaders can stop, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that with Adeleke in APC, you know, he will be standing a better chance, you know, of winning.
Better chance
Osun
of
State
winning Osun State alone
in
or the
2027.
Southwest?
No, Osun State. APC lost Osun State in 2023. So, you know, the calculations are on that, okay, I just have to look at what is going on in the southern state of the country. I just have to have the whole 17 northern states. So if I can have the whole 17 northern states, fine. Maybe let me try to, if I can gather like 4 or 5 of northern states, that will be fine. So, you know, Tinubu is a politician, he's veteran, not just, so he will do everything to make sure that he has, you can imagine a sitting PDP governor endorsing an APC president. So that tells you that something is, so but I believe that all this noise, all these
24 hours is a
very long time.
All right, let's quickly look at this one. So politics here, we have Tinubu APC governors in ISEC meeting before NEC. Remember the NEC meeting will happen today.
Yes.
And we have the Tanko Al-Makura, we have Ali Daluri, that's the interim chairman.
Yeah, acting national
the
chairman.
acting national. Then we have this particular one, this Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, that's Niwat Tawe, Yitwada. It's there too. Why do we have this meeting before the NEC meeting that we're supposed to hold today?
You know, in politics, that's what we call caucus meeting. You know, the inner workings of the party, you know, the political kitchen cabinet of the president. So, of course, they are going to have their inner caucus meeting, where it is at the inner caucus meeting that they will decide. You know, most of the things
they
that
have
you
the
see,
likes of Opus Odema being the chairman of the
APC governors. So, you know, it is at the inner caucus meeting, the political kitchen cabinet meeting, that the politicians take decision. It is not at the NEC meeting. You understand? So whatever that will happen, whoever that will be the chairman of the APC, that decision will be taken there. You understand? Of course, everybody is believing that possibly, you know, President Tinubu is, you know, somehow disposed to Tanko Al-Makura of Nasarawa State. You know, especially when there is this clamor for not central or northwest being the chairman of the party. But let's, you know, like I said, in politics, 24 hours is a very long time. You never can tell what can happen in the course of, you know, their engagements, whether in their inner caucus meeting or even whether at the actual NEC meeting later in the day.
So at least we'll know that the chairman will surface from all this.
Of course.
Those three. Okay, APC will expand National Assembly control with 7 new defectors. I think we've talked about this. But there is a particular one here from the Punch. Reps approved $347 million loan for Lagos Calabar Highway and others. Well, according to Mr. President, the loan is necessary due to a rise in funding needs for Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway project, whose costs increased by $47 million. What specific section of this Lagos Calabar Highway will this $347 million loan be used for?
You know, we can all remember that President recently commissioned few kilometers of Lagos Calabar Coastal highway. And, you know, it is not peculiar to this administration when talking of borrowing, you know, and getting loans. We can remember the days of late President Muhammadu Buhari. You know, we can remember the extent of loans that Nigeria got from the Chinese government through the Honorable Minister, former Minister of Transportation. But one thing that I believe is that there is nothing wrong in getting loans. You know, the most important thing is there must be justification for the loans. You know, the most powerful country in the world, the most powerful nation in the world, United States of America, they are in debt. They take loans. But the most important thing is, you know, the problem we have in Nigerians is that Nigerians don't trust the leadership. Nigerians don't trust their leaders. By the time people started hearing millions, billions of naira, you know, loans and all those stuff, they believe that the money will be embezzled. That are we sure that even if they, you know, it is not the issue of getting, it is the issue of if you get this loan, are you going to make use of these loans? You know, we can get loans to improve our infrastructure. We can get loans to develop our social.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a question we keep asking our House of Rep. Yes. If you approve loan, who says to the transparency, the accountability of the loan you approved for, Mr. President?
The buck still stops on the table of the National Assembly. You know, one of the major responsibilities of the National Assembly is oversight. You don't just approve loans. You don't just approve budgets. You make sure that what we are approving this loan for, or what we are taking this loan for, is the loan is well utilized. You understand? But you know, it's just as if, you know, maybe because of the politics, these are the National Assembly. They are gradually, you know, moving away from their responsibility. Maybe because of party, you know, loyalty. You know, maybe because of loyalty to Mr. President and all that. So it is the responsibility of the National Assembly. We don't need to be dragging this, don't need to be discussing this for a long time. It is the responsibility of the National Assembly that, yes, we are going to approve this loan, but you also want to ensure, to make sure that this loan, you know, you use it for what you have stipulated it for. So it is the responsibility of the House of Representatives and the Senate to make sure that they monitor the usage of this loan.
Okay, if this loan, as what Mr. President said, will be used for the actual project, well, what are the potential benefits of this project for trade, commerce, and industry in the affected areas?
Yes, you know, one of the reasons why, yes, it has a very great potential, a very great significance for the socio-economic development of, of the nation. You know, one of the good or the best decisions that the president has taken so far, that's why you are witnessing, you know, daily defection of politicians from the southeast, from the south-south zone or region of the country, because they believe that one of the good things that the president has done for the zone or for the region is that Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. You know, number one, you know, it's going to improve the socio-economic development of the region. You know, from going from Lagos to all those parts of the region of the, you know, so it's not going to be business as usual. Even the, is it 7 kilometer or 700 kilometer or 3 kilometer, you know, allegedly commissioned by the president. You know, you can, I have an opportunity of visiting the place a few weeks ago. You know, when you at that spot, you know, you will love it. So if we can have something like that from Lagos to Calabar, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
All right, let's quickly look at this one from this Nigeria. Federal government declares food prevention national security priority and unveils anticipatory action plan for reactive relief to proactive disaster response ahead of 2025 flood season.
Yes, you know, one of the problems confronting Nigeria as a nation is, you know, flood, you know, prevention of flood.
As of yesterday, there was flood alert in Oyo State too.
Yes, you know, I always believe that it is not even the issue of federal government. You know, we're supposed to have even moved away from these federal government managing flood and all this stuff for our state. You know, Oyo State, you know, this is a local. You know, it's local. You understand? It's not the federal government thing. I'm expecting that, you know, federal government should allow each state to take control, because Abuja will not really understand the terrain of Ibadan. You know, Abuja don't really understand how floods, you know, you don't understand the terrain. So it should not be the problem of the federal government. It should be the problem of the state government. Let the state government, you know, then pass it to the local government, because the issue of flood is local. You know, it is not. Look at the one that happens in Niger State. You can also we will not be able to forget easily what happened in August, the flood in August 2011. So, you know, it is. I want to suggest that the issue of flood should be decentralized. It should not be centralized. It should not be the federal government that will be approving funds. It's not the federal government that will be coming to states. You know, aside from the aspect where NEMA comes in, you know, when it happens, you know, to come and give palliatives, to come and assist so-called to the victims. Do we have to wait till that time? We don't have to wait till that time. Well, most of the state governments that knows what they are doing, that knows their onions, are preparing towards that. And you can, 2 days ago or yesterday, you know, your state, SEMA issued a release informing and warning the residents of your state that, you know, these are the areas, the flood-prone areas. So, and they are warning residents of those areas to vacate, you know, before the, you know, when there are flood disaster, when there are flood issues, you know, there will be hunger, because, you know, most of our farmlands, you know, can be away. You understand. So it is better that the federal government, you know, let the issue of flood be taken care of by the state. It is a good thing, you know, taking charge, you know, from now. Now that you don't even have the rains.
We do, but then maybe it's
we don't
not
have much
heavy
of it.
Like they
You don't have much of, like Ibadan. Well, I don't know, in my area, I cannot remember. I was not in Ibadan, you know, yesterday, but I heard there were a bit shower. But even while I was in Ibadan some days ago, you know, I hardly see rains in my area. I don't know why.
You know what? They maybe a shalom. Well, away from that, let's look at the electricity. We have this tariff battle escalates. DISCO rejects review talks with states. And the power distribution companies have kicked against any form of negotiation with states on power tariffs, stressing that the move by the state government might kill the power sector if care is not taken. Meanwhile, the Electricity Act 2023 had empowered the state to regulate the sector in the domain and resisted attempts to counter this development. While the tariff battle?
Pat, you know what? You know, this is not just a straight jacket thing. You know, it will be very difficult for state governments. You know, the Electricity Bill 2023 has empowered the state governments to also source for their own.
But we have some states.
Okay.
Or your state is included. Enugu is there. Okay. I can't remember some other states where they said by September they will give them the license to, like, okay, have access to your domain, control it yourself. But why this tariff battle?
See, let me tell you, most of the states, I think Abia State, 70% of Abia State no longer. I'm not too sure, but I'm aware that Abia State, you know, talking about electricity, they now have their own source of. So, you know, what they are discussing, you know, they are discussing the liability. The state government, they are having issues with DISCO over the liability of the federal government. You know, this is what we are still saying, that this thing should have been long time ago been decentralized. So you understand, you know, DISCO have their own budget, they have their own plans, they have their own spending. You know, the state government cannot just come up now and, you know, they now want to go into negotiation, they now want to go into discussion with DISCO over their tariff. No, I think, for me, I think it is early. What I will have advised the state to do is, like in your state, I know we have like 1 or 2 dams that can be our own source of electricity. I think by the time the state governments have their independent source of electricity, Shey that you don't even need to go into tariff negotiation or tariff discussion with this school when you already have your own source of electricity. I don't know if I don't know if you are getting so. You know, it is I don't know the word that can, you know, it's some will say is overlapping, it's overstretched. Shey that this now should not be negotiation
Period.
for tariff with this school by the state government.
What should be done,
State
or what should
government,
be happening now?
State government, you know, some of these states are saying by 2030, by 2027, by 20, they will be having their own independent. I think the state government should look inward and find, like in Oyo State, we have like 1 or 2 dams. You know, the dams are just lying. You understand? Let us go back. Let us generate our own electricity. You know, directly or indirectly. You know, the problem with disco and all these electricity generating companies will be resolved. You know, naturally.
Okay, let's talk about the state government here, because state government's position. Can state government substantially subsidize the electricity tariff for the residents?
Yeah, it is possible. Very, very possible.
And how?
Can. Okay, take for example, in Ondo State, a few weeks ago, I lent the distributed prepaid meters to the residents of the state. You know, is it not part of subsidizing?
Well, what implication would that have on the budget?
Well, what implication will it have on the budget?
Yes, on the budget. I mean, the state government budgets.
See, the main responsibility of every government is to make sure that you take care of the residents of your state, of your citizens. So there is no amount of money that you spend on ensuring that your citizens, the residents of your state are well. That is much. So what is the budget? The budget is meant for who? Is it not for the residents and citizens of the states? So for me, I don't think that it be, even though I'm of the school of thought that all these subsidizing all this stuff should not be part of our culture and our things again. But if they want to do that, or if they are thinking of doing that, you know, if they want to subsidize the electricity for their residents, you know, especially in this time that we are now, I don't think it's not a bad idea.
Well, let's look at the future prediction here. How would how would this shape the future of Nigeria, power sector?
Yes, I think we are getting there. You know, there has been a consistent improvement in the power generation of Nigeria, and I believe if the present effort is sustained, you know, electricity in Nigeria will be well improved, and you know, there is a future for Nigeria when it comes to the issue of power. Yes, I'm very sure of that.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Olaliko Shubowale. Well, before I let you go this morning, let's quickly look at this. Let's quickly look at this. And Amechi is talking here. He said, I am tired of 2027. It's still politics. He said, I am tired of Tinubu. APC must be replaced. Amechi, who is going to replace Tinubu?
You know, when you said Amechi, I laughed.
Why?
It's so funny. Amechi saying that he's tired of Tinubu. Tired of Tinubu as in how? You know, politicians will
It's tired because he's talking about hardship being told to the Nigerians. I mean, back and forth, you're telling us that our GDP has grown, but it's not. We are not seeing it as a citizen of this great country.
If anybody we're talking about hardship in Nigeria, it should not be Rotimi Amechi. You don't understand. You know, politicians, I don't know. You know, they most times they play upon the intelligence of Nigerians. You know, Amechi was recently indicted that his wife collected 4 billion naira every month. Money. He's there. He has not come out to deny. I read that his wife.
But it's his wife, not him.
His wife denied yesterday. His wife, not him.
He is not.
But you know, Amechi said that whatever that he has achieved, you know, the money that he has made and the prosperity and all those stuff, that can be attributed to his wife. That's what he said. That's what he told Nigerians. You understand? So Amechi, we know how you know the loans that he signed on behalf of Nigeria, making railways and all those stuff. The debts are still there.
When he was the
When
Minister
he
of
was the Minister of
Transportation.
Transportation. So when he was Minister of Transportation, I am not a spokesperson for anybody, but politicians will stop playing upon the intelligence of Nigerians. You understand? So what Amechi left office less than 3 years now. It's just over 2 years now. He was the governor of Rivers State. He was a former speaker, a minister of transportation, super minister for that matter, for 8 years. What has been his contribution, even to Rivers State? So, Amechi is not in the best position to be telling Nigerians that he's tired of president. If he's tired, maybe he's talking about himself, that he is tired of President Tinubu. Maybe.
He's not speaking for Nigerians.
He's not speaking for the people of River State, and he's not speaking for
Well, because
Nigerians.
of this, what's it called? This former Minister of Transportation, that will make me to align this headline talking about our very own Governor Makinde Commission's Akubo Ojinrolo on Daba Road. That's what Sheikh Makinde has been doing. How would you rate infrastructure in this administration?
Yes, I want to commend well, I commend Governor Sheikh Makinde. Yes, the governor is doing well, especially when it comes to infrastructure development across the state. You go around, you move around, you look at tiring of roads, development of bushes around us into estate. So Governor Sheikh Makinde is doing well.
How would you rate him on the ratio of 8 rates?
Well,
how would you?
Well, see, 3 days ago there was this picture that was released flying around, showing us the Shaki Igbo Shaki road. Most of these things are being done in Ibadan. So there is a need for. That's why I find it so difficult to give him any mark now.
Accolades.
Governor Sheikh, I will just advise Governor Sheikh Makinde to maybe you can just visit some other parts of the state and should not limit it to Ibadan alone. So I will not be able to, but in Ibadan, it's doing well.
All right, thank you so much, Laleko Shobowale, a journalist and a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on what the papers are saying. I mean, the headlines. Of course, this is where we'll be joining the curtains on newspaper headlines and analysis. Coming up next is Big Story. Stay tuned. Do not go anywhere.